Hello, Mizzou fans. Darren Whitick with the Tiger Club of Kansas City. We're talking today with Ben Arnet from the Mizzou Network, SEC Network Plus. Ben, thanks for coming up from Columbia today.
No problem.
Got a lot of excitement around Kansas City now. Chiefs win. You had a good story today. We'll get to that in a second, but let's got a busy week at Mizzou this week, starting with National Signing Day, then a big basketball game Saturday.
Yeah, Wednesday is the late National Signing Day. We had the early one back in early December. Mizzou signed 10 players. They'll sign probably about 8 to 10 more on Wednesday. Really a good chance for the new coaching staff to get out there. They've been working really hard over the last month. You know, the staff has been put together as they've been recruiting ever since Coach Drinkwitz was hired in early December. So this is really big, and you know they're also already looking towards 2021. You know they're already getting out there and getting to know the state. And something I told the group today that I think is really cool is, you know, people always want to know what recruiting areas each assistant coach has, and they've got this on this new staff, but they all recruit the state of Missouri. Every single member of the staff recruits the state of Missouri and has an eye on the state of Missouri, and I think that's really going to help them as they set these roots here with the new staff.
And then Saturday, rally for Ryan with the basketball team.
Yeah, for folks who don't know, Ryan Luce, the daughter of Brad Luce, used to be an assistant basketball coach here 5 years ago, and now he works with the Tiger Scholarship Fund. But you know, 5 years ago, his daughter, she was only 4 at the time, was diagnosed with cancer, and she's beaten it. She's cancer-free for about 3 years now, but they started Rally for Ryan back when she was still sick to try to raise money to fight pediatric cancer, because it is wildly underfunded. It remains the number one killer of children by disease, and the Rally for Ryan Fund is focused on raising money to try to fund clinical trials, to develop new medicines and new treatments, because that's what saved Ryan's life, was a clinical trial. They've raised over $500,000 the last 5 years. Half of that has come from people donating at the Rally for Ryan game. We're 4-0 in the Rally for Ryan game. Try to make it 5-0 Saturday.
There's Diamond sports are starting. Softball will start. I think they're flying out maybe Thursday to start on Friday, and then baseball next week. What's a little look forward for softball first, and then baseball for this year?
A lot of returners, a lot of excitement for softball. A lot of really talented players coming back. Jasmine Rollin, Emma Robbie, Hattie Moore behind the plate. You've got Kim Wirt, who was not only one of the best home run hitters in the SEC last year, her first year in the league, but just a diamond gem waiting to happen over at third base. Kayla Kessinger is healthy again. Folks will remember from 2 years ago, kind of could play anywhere in the outfield, clutch hitter. She was injured, missed all of last year. She is back, and it's going to be a remade pitching staff. Coach Larissa Anderson has 3 talented freshmen that she really likes. There will actually be a complete season preview interview on the Mizzou Network YouTube channel coming up later this week if you want more information about them.
Great, we'll look for that. And then baseball next week, kind of picked middle of the pack, maybe SEC, but Coach Beezer, I think, may expect a little bit more than that out of this.
Yeah, really taking a mentality of, hey, look, we're not eligible for postseason. We don't have any control over that. Let's win something even more important. Let's win the regular season championship in the SEC. They're taking a mentality of, we want to be the best team over the course of the whole season, the long haul in the Southeastern Conference. Got some great returners coming back. Really excited to see how Mark Vierling has developed. They really liked what they saw in little spurts last year from Austin James. Really think that he can do that on a more consistent basis this year. And Ian Bedell could be that next great starting pitcher in that lineage that goes back to Max Scherzer and Aaron Crow and on through Tanner Houck and TJ Sikkema last year. He had a great year at the Cape, and they think that he can carry that over to this season.
And then, as you talked about, brought up a football with some ties to Mizzou in the Super Bowl this weekend. Coach Andy Reid, of course, Dave Tobe at Mizzou. You brought up a football signed by those guys. Yeah. And then you also brought up a little lesser known but very exciting part of a hand that Mizzou had in the Super Bowl as well with someone you may know well.
Yeah, this is really cool. I found this football. Sometimes my office is in the Hearn Center. Sometimes you just find stuff in the Hearn Center. I was walking down, there's some stuff that was getting thrown out one day, and this football with a bunch of signatures on it, and I started to see, oh, Larry Smith, that's kind of cool, and you see Dan Devine and Frank Broyles is on here, and Don Farrow is on here, and it must have been back when Bob Stull was head coach, because there are a bunch of signatures of old assistant coaches, and right here is Andy Reid. So, I had to disappoint everybody by saying, I wasn't going to give this away because it's not mine to give away, but that's really cool. And then the other thing you were talking about, and this is just me bragging on family, but the Chiefs Rumble, the drum line that performs at every Chiefs home game, that was actually founded by my brother Matt back in 2009, and he's still the head coach of it, if you will. And he and 4 of his fellow Rumble mates had a great opportunity. The Chiefs were so gracious with an opportunity for them to go down to Miami for the Super Bowl. They performed 4 or 5 times, did some events with the 49ers, their counterparts with the 49ers, and then actually got to go to the game and go to the celebration after party and all that kind of stuff. It was a great experience, and the Mizzou connection is he's a Mizzou graduate and a former member of Marching Mizzou, as is Alex Valor, who helped him found that back in 2009.
Very good. Always excited to have that in Kansas City, and the tie for Mizzou to the Chiefs. So, rally for Ryan this Saturday. Make sure you get out there. Ben, thanks again for coming up. Always good to have you. We'll see you next week at the Tiger Club of Kansas City.